we'll be starting in just a few minutes. with us today for Washington's annual Worker Memorial Day ceremony. My name is Joel Sachs, and I'm the director of the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries. I want to welcome all of you here to L&I today, and especially I want to welcome the families of the fallen workers that we honor here today and all of your guests. Let's start today's activities by rising for the posting of the colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Here today to offer an invocation is Chaplain Jeffrey Jones, Religious Coordinator at Washington State Department of Corrections Center in Little Rock.
Shall we pray? Creator of all life, we pause today to honor our colleagues, friends, and loved ones who went to work but did not return. Remember their dedication, their service, and their commitment to their families and communities. We honor the hands that built, the minds that planned, and the hearts that served. We feel the profound loss of their presence and the silence they have left behind. In our grief, we pledge to uphold their memory by demanding safer workplaces where every person is protected and respected. Grant peace to those who have died, healing to those who have been injured, and comfort to all who mourn. May their dedication continue to inspire us, and may their souls rest in peace. In the name of all that is righteous, amen.
Chaplain Jones, your words remind me of the importance of being together as we are today. We're here today to remember fallen workers who lost their lives due to a work-related injury or illness, and to honor their families and friends with our ceremony. I want to welcome you all here today. I'm also privileged to welcome Governor Bob Ferguson, along with several cabinet members and legislators here today. We appreciate today's guests, and I want to thank our sign language interpreters, as well as our Korean, Spanish, and Ukrainian interpreters. who make sure language is no barrier in taking part in honoring these workers. I also want to take a moment and welcome the members of our L&I community who are with us today. I want to thank and welcome the members of our L&I pension team who perform the crucial role of helping families as they go through this very difficult time. And also, I want to welcome our safety and health investigators who have the tough job of investigating workplace deaths to figure out what went wrong and helping us all find ways to prevent it from ever happening again. Please accept my sincerest gratitude for the challenging and incredibly important work that you each do every day. After this portion of our ceremony today, we invite you to join us in our memorial garden, where family members and friends will have an opportunity to ring the state's memorial bell and share a memory or a story of your loved one if you'd like. We're here today to pause and to honor your lost family members and to offer our deepest condolences to each of you who lost a loved one to a workplace illness or injury. It's easy to stand here and talk about L&I's mission to keep Washington safe and working, but making it a reality, that's another story. It takes a daily commitment, and that starts with our top leader. In that spirit, I am honored and privileged to introduce a leader who works tirelessly every day to protect and support the people of Washington State. Please join me in welcoming Governor Bob Ferguson.
Thank you, Joel. And Joel mentioned a few moments ago that there are members of my cabinet who are here, and that's true, and Joel is one of those cabinet members. So I deeply appreciate Joel's leadership and the whole team, the public servants at L&I, who you thanked, and I appreciate their service as well. I also just want to say a special thank you to those who organized this event. This is my second time as governor, my second year as governor attending, and last year I just was so impressed by the obvious care that goes into the organization of this event and the way it's put together. So great appreciation to those who make this event possible. And of course, most importantly, on behalf of the people of the state of Washington, to the families and everybody here who's lost a loved one, I want to also express on behalf of the people of the state of Washington my deepest condolences for your loss. Your loved ones were dedicated professionals. They did important work. They contributed people all across our state. They provided services to the people of our state. They helped people all across our state. And I know from going through the individual stories of each one that they all worked in a wide range of fields: firefighters, truck drivers, construction workers, and so many other areas and professions that are truly vital to our state. Our state could not function without the service and the hard work of individuals like your loved ones. I know that at least, I think, a dozen individuals we're honoring today worked at Hanford, a site with, as you all know, with very dangerous radioactive waste. I mentioned that one because back in my days as Attorney General, we were preparing a potential lawsuit against the federal government for unsafe work conditions at Hanford. And I had the real honor to spend a lot of time in the Tri-Cities, where I met many, many dozens of workers at Hanford, who really shared their stories of their experience at Hanford and how the federal government had failed to provide a safe work environment. And that led to a lawsuit, and the lawsuit can only be successful with individual stories. And those individuals wrote declarations and signed declarations and contributed to a lawsuit which was successful. And I know those 12 individuals are 12 of the many who are honoring today. But I share that because, to follow up on what Joel said, workplace safety is important enough to us that we file lawsuits against federal administrations, presidents, in order to do everything we can to protect the workplaces for Washingtonians. I can remember the first time I think I probably ever really thought about workplace safety. I'm from a big family. I'm one of 7 kids, 6 brothers, 1 sister. I'm near the bottom of that family, so I've got a lot of older siblings. And when I was young, one of my older brothers, many of my brothers work in the fishing industry, I should start with that, and still do to this day. And so when I was young, one of my older brothers He would have been a teenager still, I think, but he was on a fishing boat that went up to Alaska for fishing. Along with the captain of the vessel was my cousin, our cousin. And John was young, and so they went up there, and John described it to me later on, but they ran into a really bad storm. And at some point, my cousin, Quinn, said to everybody on the boat to get their survival suits out and to come up to the top of the boat because, it wasn't looking great and the boat might go under. So, my brother John, I can assure you, big guy, strong guy, big beard. He was sort of like a larger-than-life figure to me as a young boy. And he talked about, I asked him about it once, what that was like to go up on deck. And I remember him saying he'd never seen a sky that dark or the sea that rough. And he was obviously scared. And trust me, it would seem to me nothing could scare my brother. He was a big, strong guy. He can take care of himself. Now, thankfully, that boat did not go under. They managed to steer through that and survive that. But, I never quite thought about workplace safety the same after that, as a kid. It just didn't seem to occur to me at that time that, wait, you can just go do your job, help put fish on the table that I'm eating at night and we're all eating at night, and you could lose your life doing that when you're a teenager. And so translating that to, my work and leading the state of Washington is, I often say in speeches around the state, April Sims, who you hear from later on, has heard me say it many times, look, when you go to work, two things should happen. You should get every penny that you've worked hard for and earned that day, number one. Number two, your workplace should be as safe as humanly possible for you to do that important work. And that's really our mission as a state, to do those two things each and every time for all the workers to the best of our ability. So I just want to wrap up by saying one more time how much I appreciate the hard work of Joel and all the individuals who work in L&I who help to make sure we are trying to meet that mission, providing a safe work environment for my brother, for your siblings, for every Washingtonian who's working. I'm looking forward to continuing that work with all the public servants in L&I to honor the memory of your loved ones by creating, maintaining, and enforcing the safest work environment possible. Once again, on behalf of the people of the state of Washington, I'm deeply, deeply sorry for your loss.
Governor, thank you. Thank you for the reminder that workplace safety, for so many of us, it's personal. And we gather here today because it's personal and it's our time to recommit to workplace safety. Worker Memorial Day events are occurring this week in communities across the country. In Washington State, we take somewhat of a unique approach to our ceremony. It's designed as a joint observance with business, organized labor, and government coming together with families who lost a loved one on the job. This collaboration symbolizes Washington's commitment to a cooperative approach to creating safer workplaces. In just a moment, we're going to hear from a parent of a worker who we honored last year as they share the impact of their son's passing. But first, we're going to hear from three speakers who represent communities striving for safer workplaces. First, we're going to hear from April Sims. April is the president of the Washington State Labor Council, AFL-CIO. It's the largest labor organization in the state. Next, we'll hear from Morgan Irwin, vice president of government affairs for the Association of Washington Business. With nearly 7,000 members, it's the oldest and largest statewide business organization in Washington. And then we'll hear from Matt Saxon. Matt is the risk manager at Seattle Public Schools and the past president of the Washington Self-Insurers Association. The association includes more than 400 major public and private sector employers. Let's start by welcoming April.
Thank you, Joel. Good afternoon. It is a solemn honor to gather today to remember the Washington workers who lost their lives as a result of a work-related injury or illness. Each person we honor lives on in the hearts and the minds of those who love them. Parents, siblings, children, friends. On behalf of more than 650,000 unionized members across the state of Washington, we offer our condolences and we stand with you in your grief. I want to take a moment to recognize the workers at the Department of Labor and Industries who often step in before hazards become funerals. Your work enforces standards, protects workers, and saves lives. This work matters. Your work matters. And this moment reminds us of our responsibility in labor, in government, and in business to fight every day for safer workplaces, to make sure workers know their rights, to ensure they can speak out about hazards, to demand those concerns are taken seriously, and to protect every family from this kind of loss. We in this room must turn that hope that no family endures this pain into reality. Safe workplaces are not a privilege, they are a fundamental right. 55 years ago, OSHA was established with a promise that every worker deserves a safe job and every worker deserves to come home whole at the end of their workday. That promise exists because working people demanded it. Generations before us refused to accept danger as the cost of a paycheck. They organized, they fought, and they won protections that save lives to this day. But that work is not finished. Today, we remember workers lost to toxic exposures, vehicle incidents, on-the-job accidents, and workplace violence. Every one of these deaths is a tragedy. Every one of these deaths was preventable, and every one of these deaths is a call to action. Our movement carries forward the words of Mother Jones, who organized miners facing deadly conditions more than a century ago. Workers who went deep underground, toiling in the dark with the immediate threat of mine collapse and the long-term threat of black lung disease. And after witnessing so much loss, her call still guides us to mourn for the dead and to fight for the living. Today, we mourn with the families who carry this loss every day, and we recommit ourselves to the fight for the living. We recommit to our purpose, our duty, to ensure that every worker in every job, in every industry, comes home safe and whole at the end of the day. That is how we honor those we have lost. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to speak as part of this solemn and important event this year. This year is the first year I've spoken at the Worker Memorial Ceremony, and I'm truly humbled to be here. My name is Morgan Irwin, and I'm here on behalf of the Association of Washington Business and the thousands of employers we represent across Washington. But I'm also here as an individual, someone who has worked a wide variety of jobs through my career, who has unfortunately seen coworkers injured on the job and even killed. I want to start by saying thank you to the families and friends of the 115 individuals we are remembering today. Thank you for taking part in this ceremony, and thank you for helping us collectively recognize and honor your loved ones. We are grateful for each and every one of them. As I thought about what I might share today, I thought about my childhood growing up in Enumclaw, a town built by agriculture, mining, and the timber industry. When I was young, I didn't know many men over the age of 50 that had 10 fingers. Many were missing a digit, many were missing a limb. You don't see that as much now. Workplace safety has made tremendous strides over the last few decades, and that has taken teamwork and dedication. Today is a reminder that our work is not done, and further incentive to do better and be better. We hope we never need another one of these ceremonies. The goal is that one day we will gather only to remember those from years past. That's a big goal, I know, and the only way we will reach a big goal is by working together. Workplace safety is not something any of us can achieve alone. It takes all of us, individually and institutions, working together to make it a priority. Me, you, all of our coworkers, business, labor, government, one team. Working together, we can remain vigilant and rededicate ourselves every day to workplace safety and health, both physical and mental. This is how we ensure that everyone who goes to work in the morning comes home safe at the end of the day, and this is how we honor the memory of your loved ones. Thank you for allowing me to share these thoughts today. God bless you all.
Good afternoon. My name is Matt Saxon. I'm a past president of the Washington Self-Insurers Association, and I'm honored to be here today on behalf of the association. Thank you to the Washington State Department of Labor and Industries for bringing us together for this meaningful observance. Worker Memorial Day is always a moment of reflection. We gather to remember individuals who lost their lives to work-related injuries and illnesses. They were caregivers, mentors, parents, children, neighbors, and friends. While we honor them today as workers, we remember them as so much more. And their loss continues to be felt deeply by those who love them. As we pause to honor these individuals, we also acknowledge the families and loved ones who carry this loss forward every day. On behalf of the self-insured community, I extend our sincerest condolences to each of you. While this day is rooted in remembrance, it also calls us to action. Every life lost is a reminder that workplace safety is not an abstract goal. It is a shared responsibility. It lives in the decisions we make, the training we provide, and the culture we build within our workplaces. The work of prevention is ongoing. It requires commitment, vigilance, and compassion. The self-insured employers of Washington are deeply invested in this mission. We believe that strong safety practices protect more than workers. They support families, strengthen communities, and reflect our shared values. Progress is possible, and it happens when employers, workers, and regulators work together with a common purpose. Today, as we remember those that we have lost, let us also reaffirm our commitment to those still working, to ensuring that safety is never an afterthought and that every worker has the opportunity to return home safely at the end of the day. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this important observance. May we honor those we remember today through our continued dedication to a safer future for all.
Matt, Morgan, April, I want to thank you for your insights and observations, and especially for your partnership in our joint commitment to protect all Washington workers. It's now my honor to introduce our next speakers, Bob and Gail Spurrell. Their son, Mike, passed away in 2024 when his raft flipped while he was working as a river guide on a whitewater rafting trip. Recently, we've begun asking each year for a family member of a worker that we honored in a prior year to speak at our ceremony. No one is more affected by a worker's death than the friends and family they leave behind. So please join me in welcoming the Spurrells.
First of all, thank you for inviting us here. Last year, my husband and I were out there with you, and we were really impressed and honored that the state took the time and made the effort to honor those of our loved ones that we lost. Let me put my glasses on. At 5:43 p.m. on May the 4th, 2023, I received a call that would alter our lives in an unimaginable way. When a friend of our son, Mike, called to say that there had been an accident on the river, my heart sank knowing what those words meant. I had talked with Mike the night before. He was in a great mood, having spent the evening with two of his three daughters and so excited to be on the Wenatchee River for the first run of the season. He said that the river was predicted to be wild, and he could hardly wait for the run. Mike was an adrenaline junkie, as I think most river rafters are. Midway through the run, Mike's raft hit an obstruction and overturned. From all accounts, he went into full raft guide mode, shouting instructions to his passengers on how to right the raft and get back in it. At some point, his passengers realized that he was in distress, and two of them helped to get him to shore, where the other rafter guide began CPR. Eventually, medics arrived, but were unable to revive him. The coroner's assessment was that the shock of the cold water and the adrenaline rush of the accident triggered an asthma attack, which in turn triggered a heart attack. A little over a year later, at this very ceremony, Bob and I sat where you are now, not quite knowing what to expect, but impressed that our son and others who had lost their lives due to work-related accidents or illnesses were being honored and memorialized at such an event. Isn't that what we all want for our family members and our loved ones? Someone to remember our loved one in some way, to be able to share stories, someone to keep their memory alive. Some of you in this room know the shock of dealing with a sudden loss, and others deal with the lingering process of watching a loved one die from a work-related illness. Neither is welcome, but we have to play with the cards we're dealt. While your grief is newer than ours, know that grief has no timeline. Bob and I are here to share that over time, grief may not lessen, but the pain will. 3 years later, there are still moments when tears arise, but there are many more moments when we remember our son with joy. Mike's 3 girls were between the ages of 9 and 16 when he died, and beside the normal preteen and teen issues, his daughters had to learn to live with the loss of their dad. It was a sensitive road to travel, but we seem to have navigated that road safely, and Mike would be so proud to see the beautiful young women they've become, and we love seeing some of the characteristics of his live on in each of them. Eden shares his adventurous spirit. She's our adrenaline junkie. Hope shares his absolute love of music, and Pearl, his sense of adventure. After he died, we discovered Mike had a huge tribe of friends, many of whom have adopted us. Parents have a tendency to whitewash memories of our children, and while Mike was far from perfect, he was an amazing human. Within 2 weeks of his accident, Mike's skiing and rafting friends, an interesting community to say the least, all adrenaline junkies, had organized a concert and an auction in his honor, which raised $20,000, which has been placed in funds for his daughters when they determine their paths once they each graduate from high school. My husband Bob and I wanted to do something to keep Mike's memory alive, not only for our family, but also for his friends in the outdoor community he so loved. We approached the city of Kashmir and asked if we could install a bench in the park by the rafting takeout spot on the Wenatchee River. The bench bears a plaque with his name and the motto he lived by. It reads, Mike Spurrell, live life, love life. His girls are able to visit, sit, look out over the river, reflect on their day, their dad, or just rest. To our surprise, his friends also visit it. And 3 years later, we are still getting notes or pictures from them sitting on his bench. It brings us joy and comfort whenever we get a message saying, I visited Mike's bench today. To this day, we take comfort in these words that we received from Mike's tribe. We know that they remember and miss him too, and that brings us joy even in our sorrow. Sean said, many people don't let you in, but that rare person actually admits you into themselves. Mike let you in. He naturally welcomed people as few can comfortably do. I can only remember a person who was I can only remember him as a person who was like a hearth of home, a warmth to be appreciated when you are near and to miss when you're away. Another friend said, Mike was a wonderful and fun guy, an inspiration and father. Most people live while they are dying. Mike died while he was living. Another friend said, much love, brother man. I'm a better person for knowing you. Another, and finally, never told you, but I can say without a doubt, you have to be one of the most genuinely kind, good-natured, and non-judgmental humans I have or will ever know in this world. I know our tracks will meet again. It gives all of us hope and comfort when we realize that our loved one also had a tribe and loved ones that cared for them deeply. Finally, two of his friends, Holly, a guide who is here today, and Don, a rafting company owner, were so impacted by Mike's loss that they recently proposed an amendment to an existing state law that, if passed, would require all commercial rafts on Washington waters to have an AED aboard. It has the potential to save lives when similar accidents occur. We can't begin to tell you what this means to us, that perhaps our son did not die in vain, and that others may benefit from the lessons learned by his accident. Mike's motto was live life, love life, and he did that to the fullest. It's been almost 3 years since we lost Mike. It's still hard, but we will tell those of you here just experiencing your loss to cherish your memories of your loved ones and remember to love life and to live life out of respect for their memory. I just came across this quote after I was asked to talk, and it really resonated with me. And it says, yes, you will grieve forever, not as a life sentence, but as a love letter to keep you writing. You keep writing. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Yes, you will grieve forever, not as a life sentence, but as a love letter you keep writing. We wish each one of you comfort, peace, and beautiful memories of your loved one.
It's choking me up, so anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Mike's story. And we sat where you are a year ago. We heard all the stories. And I think all of us asked, why did this happen? Could the outcome have been different? And then there are more questions. There's a what if, what if, what if? You probably asked, was workplace safety a priority? Did our folks have the proper training and equipment? Were there safety plans? Were there plans communicated? Were they followed? Was there a culture of safety? As Gail said, Mike was a whitewater guide, a job he loved. That day he was one of a team of 2 rafts taking folks down the Wenatchee from Leavenworth to Kashmir. Safety in 2s. It was the first day of the season and heavy spring runoff, 18-foot waves. But Mike was trained for that. He was experienced. He loved big water. It was the first day of the season, and it was a heavy spring runoff, 18-foot waves. He had 6 passengers, all willing to have fun, take the crazy ride down the Wenatchee, all living life and loving life. They had the right equipment. Rafts are made for whitewater. Hit the slot, and they remain upright and stable. All wore the proper safety gear, PFDs, wetsuits, helmets, just in case. The passengers were given the instructions on how and where to paddle. Part of communicating the plan, all good. As Gail said, Mike's raft flipped on the first day of the season. They missed the slot. When a raft flips, guides are trained to get the raft upright and folks back in. All that was going well that day. Mike was on top of the game. Until he wasn't. Because of the shock of the cold water, Mike became distressed. He had a heart attack. He was pulled from the water by two of his passengers. CPR was administered by the other guide. Medics came, did what they could, but to no avail. But what if? What if the rafts had an AED? What if the guides knew how to use it? Would he have survived? What if? What if? What if? We hope that the learnings from your loss and from our loss of Mike will be a catalyst for positive change in the workplace and make the workplace safer for all. We thank L&I for the work that they do to help protect workers, and thank them for allowing us to tell you our story. Thank you very much.
Bob, Gail, thank you. Thank you for your vulnerability, for your candor, and for your courage to share your story with us today. Many of the honored families provided photos of their fallen heroes. We're going to share them on screen, accompanied by a musical tribute featuring some members of the Tumwater High School notables. of our singers from Tumwater High School, thank you for that beautiful music. Now it's time for the traditional ringing of the bell and the reading of the names of the fallen workers. Each name that we read reminds us of a person, yet it's so much more than that. Each name represents a family, a community that suffered a loss. Joining April and Morgan and Matt for the reading of the names are Steve Yonker, Agricultural Compliance Manager from L&I's Division of Occupational Safety and Health, and Coral Serber, Pension Manager from L&I's Insurance Services Division. The memorial bell ringers are Battalion Chief Jason Waters from Olympia Fire Department and Battalion Chief Brad Ridgway from the Tumwater Fire Department.
Ron R. Accord, 67 logger. Miseli C. Amaro, 52 golf course worker. Casey D.S. Bayish, 46 arborist. Track G. Balgo, 33 logger. Don P. Barabolt, 53 superintendent. Dorino A. Berry, 23 arborist. Colleen A. Bass, 57 security guard. James D. Bateman, 65 quality assurance inspector. John E. Baugh, 78 machinist. Joseph K. Bauman, 61 concrete fabricator. Donald K. Berger, 90 business manager. Wendell M. Bernadas, senior, 62 construction supervisor. Brian T. Berry, senior, 68 truck driver. Gerald T. Berneman, 68 mechanic. Chris R. Blanchard, 62 construction manager. Michael R. Boob, 58 salesperson. Stephen B. Botter, 47 truck driver. Jeffrey D. Bunnell, 71 firefighter. Lorenzo Cabrera Aragano, 72 maintenance worker. Donald W. Caldwell, 79 electrician. Corey E. Carter, 55 iron worker. Jose V. Correa Arellano, 45 logger. Randall L. Cummings, 52 field mechanic.
Robert K. Curry, 77 safety engineer. Terrence J. Davis, 47 automotive manager. Russell W. Davis, 64 electrical engineer. Larry P. Dole, 55 lieutenant firefighter. Russell W. Donahue, 77, security guard. James P. Eggers, 72, firefighter. Joseph J. Ing, 76, air quality inspector. Jose F. Estrada Girmaldo, 44, farm worker. Jeffrey R. Forrest, 63, automotive technician. Vernon L. Furking, 85, plumber. Jesse L. Garrett, 66, truck driver. Pedro A. Gutan Dominguez, 36, farm worker. Robert A. Gerds II, 70, millwright. Brandon W. Gibson, 42, road maintenance worker. Lanny G. Golden, 83, mill worker. Curtis L. Gordon, 23, kennel manager. Michael D. Goosehorn, 56, saw filer. Tara Marissa Guting, 29, state patrol. Elvia Hackenmiller, 55, permit technician. Daniel J. Hanna, 72, battalion chief. Terry Hastings, 63, waste management collector. William R. Hayes, 75, deputy fire chief. Gail E. Hogue, 42, computer analyst.
Robert A. Jensen, Jr., 65, boat mechanic. Joshua A. Julian, 49, sales manager. Kathleen K. Kramer, 72, computer analyst. Hardeep Kumar, 37, convenience store clerk. Adam C.P. Lamb, 62, fire lieutenant. Cy B. Lee, 58, convenience store clerk. Juan Lemus Rodriguez, 73, carpenter. Annette H. Lyon, 62, school bus driver. Bill K. Mack, 59, deputy fire chief. Pat E. Madsen, 77, stuntman. Timothy P. Marr, 33, gun range associate. Daniel F. Marsh, 69, roofer. Roberto I. Martinez, 51, truck driver. Jesus Chuy Morenas Rivera, 60, farm worker. Patrick L. Muti, 63, driver. Isaac R. Matthews Sr., 44, machine operator. Stephen J. Maccabee, 77, campground host. Ryan P. McAvoy, 28, landscaper. Luther L. McAllister, 67, firefighter. Ward Dave McMakin, 68, firefighter. Michael W. Meacham, 66, charter bus driver. Pablo Moreno Alvarez, 50, landscaper. Kirk S. Miller, 56, general contractor.
Brandon L. Miniman, 43, fire captain. Kevin T. Monson, 58, carpenter. Newton Rambo Morris, 84, welder. Gerald W. Morton, 73, warehouse associate. Naul Mota Ariano, 55, farm worker. Vadim Mokianko, 54, truck driver. Tyler D. Ness, 33, logger. Brian L. Nopens, 65, cement finisher. Guillermo Alex Nunez Guzman, 44, cleaning service owner. Terry S. Oates II, 58, window cleaner. Jim Kauzo Ono, 86, truck driver. Chad M. Orr, 53, plumber. John D. Palomino, 21, equipment operator. Muriel S. Petrie, 70, nuclear operator. David A. Fay, 57, fire captain. Daniel M. Pitts, 59, millwright. Emilio C. Pompey, 73, machine operator. Tim J. Potterf, 63, drywall finisher. Gordon P. Rathbone, 59, construction worker. Tad T. Rist, 83, art teacher. David C. Rodman, 39, driller. Julius J. Rodriguez, 29, security guard. Juan M. Rodriguez Caballero, 61, farm worker.
Francisco J. Rodriguez Canchola, 27, construction worker. Donald J. Roller, 81, industrial engineer. Kenneth B. Salas, 59, sheriff's sergeant. Sukhbir Singh, 22, truck driver. Godfrey W. Smith, 78, cement finisher. Andres Soto, 22, diesel mechanic. Deborah S. Stockman, 64, baker. Dwayne Sukert, 38, logging truck driver. Jason R. Swanson, 47, business manager. Patrick H. Simmons, 71, construction worker. Matt J. Tartar, 34, helicopter pilot. Jeffrey L. Tenwinkle, 77, nuclear technician. Mengisteb Tesmafikael, 55, truck driver. Andrew E. Thomas, 29, installer. Tony R. Thomas, 63, electrician. Toby E. Talbert, 71, pipe fitter. Sean F. Ward, 59, firefighter. Robert Brad Watts, 67, sheet metal worker. Jimmy E. Webb, 55, fire chief. Alvin J. Webb, 62, mechanic. Larry D. Weeks, 75, engineer. Daniel C. Whitmore, 53, painter. Hunter L. Wilson, 26, construction worker.
Please join me for a moment of silence in memory of the fallen workers. For 33 years, we've gathered this way in this auditorium to honor Washington's fallen workers. As you can imagine, today's ceremony is deeply important to L&I and to me personally. I still remember my first day working for Washington State, and I remember it because it was Worker Memorial Day. Sitting in these seats participating in this ceremony had a profound impact on me. It showed me the importance of this organization's mission, the need for our work, and the value of coming together to recommit ourselves to promoting workplace safety all around the state. As we reflect on the names and the lives of the fallen workers we honor today, we notice that they are as diverse as are the people of Washington State. Johnny Palomino was just 21 years old when he was crushed by a front loader. After his high school graduation, Johnny decided he wanted to work in the construction industry like his dad. At 21, he's the youngest of those we honor today. At the other end of the spectrum is Jim Ono, a truck driver who died at the age of 86 after years of exposure to asbestos. A staggering 49 of the 115 workers we honor today died from exposures to toxic chemicals at work. 13 of the names we heard today were firefighters. At least a dozen worked at Hanford. Others worked as pipe fitters, mechanics, construction workers, and in a variety of other industries that work with hazardous chemicals. But the thing that almost all of our honorees have in common is that they died from a workplace incident or illness that was preventable. Far too often, it's not the obvious dangerous work or the big accident that takes a life on the job. Far too often, it's the regular tasks that workers do each and every day that can pose a great risk. Routine tasks can turn into tragedies. Falls from ladders are one example. Falls remain a leading cause of construction death in our state, with one L&I report indicating that falls from ladders accounted for 40% of fall-related fatalities in construction. Almost every industry uses a ladder. They're in workplaces all over the state. And I tend to think that some of us feel safe on ladders because they're also part of our non-work life. But here's the question. How often do we have systems in place to check the ladders to make sure they're not damaged or that they're set up in the right angle? And that's our challenge. How can we make the routine tasks, like using a ladder, a safety routine? Now, I know that we can do this. We did it with seatbelts. I can remember when I was growing up, it was an afterthought, if a thought at all, to put on a seatbelt. We would climb into the back of the station wagon and just ride. But that's not today. Today, it's automatic. We don't even think about it. We get in, we buckle up. It's our routine. So, what do we do to make checking a ladder, putting on a respirator, wearing fall protection as routine as putting on a seatbelt? I believe it starts with every employer in the state having a solid safety plan, ensuring safety training happens, and constantly looking for ways to anticipate and eliminate risks. We know that a strong safety culture that seeks out potential hazards can mean the difference between coming home after work and never coming home at all. On job sites, we know that safety committees are key to ensuring that workers and employers understand their role and focus on keeping safety in the forefront. Employers around the state must create workplace cultures in which safety is the only option. And workers need to be part of implementing that each and every day in the work that they do. Together, I believe that we can create a world that goes well beyond each of us protecting ourselves. We can create a world where we protect each other. That's our opportunity. It's really our responsibility to recommit to preventing workplace injuries, illnesses, and fatalities. And so today, in our 33rd ceremony, I stand before you and I restate the goal that we bring back each and every year. And we're going to continue to bring back each and every year until we reach it. We will have a year when that bell falls silent. Now, to all of our grieving families, I speak for all of us at L&I when I say to you, we recommit ourselves today to strive to silence that bell. Chaplain Jones rejoins us now for the benediction.
As we leave this place of remembrance, may we carry the spirit of our colleagues with us. May their dedication inspire us to work with purpose and kindness. May peace be upon them, and may we be strengthened to build a world of justice, safety, and dignity for all who labor. Go forth in peace, honoring their memory through their actions. In the name of all that is righteous, amen.
Chaplain Jones, thank you. I also want to offer my sincere thanks to everyone who took place in helping to plan today's ceremony. And most importantly, I want to thank all of you, the family members and friends who joined us here in the auditorium and online to honor and remember your loved ones. We've added each name that you heard to our memorial book that you see here. This book is on permanent display in our rotunda. The book serves as a daily reminder to all of us of the important work that we must do together. We're now winding down this portion of our ceremony, and I'm going to invite you all to join us in our memorial garden as we continue today's ceremony. There, you'll see our memorial bell, which was generously donated by the Washington Building and Construction Trades Council. Family members, friends, I invite you to ring the bell. And if you'd like, tell us a little bit about your loved one. This ceremony is the only day of the year that we ring that bell. After the ceremony in the garden is completed, I invite you all to come back here and enjoy some refreshments with us. But for now, as you leave the auditorium, please turn right and then turn left to go on out to the garden. It's a short walk, and we have staff members en route to point you in that direction. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today, and I look forward to seeing you outside. So again, on behalf of everyone here in the department, I want to thank each and every one of you and joining us today. This is, in some ways, the most important part of our ceremony. And it's your opportunity to join in community, to be able to recognize, to honor, to remember your loved one. And so I want to invite anyone who wants to take the bell ringer, to ring the bell and take the mic, and to the extent that you want to share the name of your loved one, share a story, share a memory, share a hope. This is your space to create together to remember those that we lost in workplaces over the last year. So I offer the bell to Yep, just give it a big. And I'll swap with you.
I'm Chad Orr's mother-in-law, and Chad walked through life with just the most exuberant, positive energy. And what I'll remember forever is just having him walk through my door and fill the room with warmth and acceptance and love.
Thank you. Who can I invite next?
I'm the parent of John David Palomino. He was just 21, just started his construction. That's it.
Thank you.
On behalf of Jose Coria, Juanita's husband, and the whole Catholic community here from St. Mary's Church in Aberdeen, mourning and grieving a great man, husband and father of three. One of his sons is here, and joining in prayer and in sorrow with all of those who are mourning today.
My name is Abby Miniman. My husband, Brandon, was a fire chief with Puget Sound Fire for over 17 years. He passed away June of last year after a 2.5-year fight with cancer. So it was important to him that he loved his family, loved Jesus, and made sure his crew went home safe to their families every night. And sorry for all of our loss.
We're here to honor my brother-in-law, Andres Soto. He was a very good worker. He had a lot of dreams. We miss him very much. That's his mom right here. He was just 22 years old when he died away. He died away. He was working. We miss him very much. Thank you.
If anyone would like to ring the bell. We know no words can appropriately capture the grief, the sadness, but please know that we come here to in community with to honor your loved one. And if anyone just wants to ring without speaking, please.
Is it okay if I hit it with the metal part?
Sure.
I like the example of the one lady that did that. My sister tells me she's watching on video, the rest of my family's on the other side of the state. And I was the only one that was kind of close enough to be here for my brother, Stephen Botter. We just miss him all the time. I think when I'm gonna go home and I'll see my sister and I'll see my parents, I'll see my brother for half a second. And then I deflate and I go, no, I won't see him. So, the rest of my family thanks you for this. I'm glad my sister told me about this. We just miss Stephen very, very much. Thank you.
Just ring it. That's okay.
I'm sorry about my English. My name is Ganna Stadny. Wife Vadim Mukienko. We're from Ukraine. We invite to USA because in our country war right now, and we wanted to save our kids. My kids here, but my husband passed away in September. You told that a lot of injury can be prevented. I'm as a doctor. I know, and I deeply believe that we can prevent a lot of diet, a lot of injury, because it's our family, it's your kids, my husband, something parents. It's so more important people for us. We need prevent our and family. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to ring the bell? I want to thank you for coming out today from all over the state, for coming to our community to grieve, to honor. And I speak for all of us here in the organization when I say, as we mourn with you, we recommit ourselves to doing everything we can tomorrow, next week, next month, to prevent any other family from facing the tragedy that each and every one of you faced. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. I want to invite you, if you want to come back to our auditorium for some light refreshments. Also going to leave the bell ringer here, and anyone who wants to take a moment and ring the bell in a more private setting, please feel free. And again, thank you all for joining us, and for everyone here, members of the L&I community and others, thank you for participating in, for being here today to remember these fallen workers, and then join me in recommitting to ensuring that each and every day we focus on ensuring that every worker gets to go home at the end of their day. Thank you.